Hi everyone, it's Alexis. I hope you are all doing well. We are in a new year, which blows my mind that we are now officially in 2022. But in the new year, a lot of times people look for new resolutions. I'm not personally one for resolutions. I like to try new things like that, but I don't hold myself to a really high standard of you have to do this. Some people are great at it. I'm not, so I like to not have the disappointment, if you will. But I do like to try new things, and I know a lot of people like to try new hobbies. And for a lot of you, some of that is trying crafting for the first time, or it's to craft more if you haven't been in the past. And that is actually one of my New Year's resolutions, um, which I just said I don't do, but it's one of my things I'd like to try to do more this year, which is to be making cards and crafting more, and getting my memories all into one space. So to make life a little bit easier for you the new year, we have launched a series of curated product bundles over on our websites. So if you go to Sizzix.com or Sizzix.co.uk and you go to the very top of the website landing page we'll say, and you look at the new tab, underneath you'll see a subcategory called bundles. And in there, you will find a wide variety of bundles covering a lot of different types of things that you might be looking for. We have stuff in there for shrink plastic, cutting pads, the acrylic paints, layering dyes. I saw one for the Sizzix effects range, and I saw another one for new starters. So if you're just getting into crafting, there's a great kickoff bundle there for you. But they've also asked us to, and by us I mean the in-house creative designers, they asked us to pull together some bundles as well, and to look at what our favorite dyes were and our favorite making essentials, and to share with you all what's been inspiring us lately. So I was really inspired by chapter 4 and a few of the dyes in there, and I wanted to make sure they got their time in the spotlight. I think at the end of the year, with the craziness of the holidays, sometimes things get overlooked, and often we just forget to look at something because it's not in the right season. And chapter 4 is a little bit of a weird spot because it goes in between kind of Christmas and the new year and into spring. So I wanted to highlight a few of the products in the bundle that I put together, just because I find them really inspiring and I think they're great for year-round use. So the bundle I have put together offers a 20% cost savings, and I've got 3 items in it. I'm going to switch to my overhead camera and show you what those items are. And I've also put together a few projects to give you a little bit of inspiration. And so give me just a second. Let me switch my camera. Okay, so I've got the 3 items here that you will find in the designer bundle that I put together. I fell in love with these 2 dyes by Olivia Rose in chapter 4. We all know I am a huge fan of florals, but I think what I really liked about these is I saw a lot of potential of not only mixing these 2 dye sets together, but also a lot of different ways that you can use these edges right here. So these are both 2 Thinlit sets, and I love Thinlits just because they offer a lot of detailing that you don't necessarily get in Big's dyes, and you just can do a lot with them, even though they seem very simplistic. And then to kind of give you something to base all of your cards on, I wanted to include some of our cards and envelopes. They come in a 10-pack in a variety of colors, but I selected the ballet slipper because I thought that was a really nice pale pink, but it gives you a little bit of a neutral background, which is funny because it's not actually a neutral color, but I feel like pink goes with almost everything. So it's a great color to select as a card base because then you can do pretty much anything on top of it. So they are 4 1/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches, and they are, the envelopes themselves are 31 pounds or 120 GSM, and then the actual envelopes, or not cards, sorry, the cards are 111 pounds or 300 GSM. They're really nice and sturdy. They have a white core, so you can actually sand them down and do a really cool distressed effect with them as well. But you do get 10 in a pack, which is a great little number to start with. And I'm going to show you up close what these 2 die sets look like so you can see. So this first one right here is called Bold Flora, or bold flowers, sorry, I got that confused with another one we used to have. But you can see it comes with a variety of flowers, foliage, leaves. What I love about this is it's got a little bit of a funky vibe to it. So it doesn't really matter what time of year you're using these, just change out the color scheme so you can make it work across all seasons. You can customize the colors to any event you might be putting together or scrapbook page, anything like that. I loved these little layering elements that add lots of little details, just really sweet and very simple Thinlit set, but a lot of possibility. These little leaves pop up. These have nice cut details into them just to give it a little bit more personality and dimension and depth. So just a really great die set altogether. There is 9 pieces in that die set, I should say. And then the other die set in here is called Bold Floral Edges. Now, what's cool about these is it looks like they just cut out this edge as it is. But actually, the blades on these dies, there is no blades. So you can have a repeat pattern, which I'll show you in just a minute, or you can decide how thin or thick you want this to be, which I have another project I'll show you in just a minute. But I loved how the elements gear back to these flowers. So you've got something that looks similar. So you've got the flower that looks like this edge right here. And then you've got this flower right here that shows up on this. And then you've got these right here, the kind of more funky looking splat flowers. They're right here. So they all really tie in together, look beautiful together, but you can use them together or you can use them separately. But I love showcasing things that tell a story all at once or tell a story separately. So now I'm going to show you a couple of projects I put together, just inspired. They're very different color schemes, I will say, than normal. I wanted to do something very bright and fallish, but I also wanted to do something that people maybe don't necessarily think to do. So the first card, I only wanted to show you how you can just use each of the die sets by themselves. So I'm just using bold flowers in this one, so I'm going to keep these off to the side so you can see. And what I did is I took the ballet slipper card and envelope, and I cut out a variety of the florals and the stems, and I did it from more like of our neutral opulence colors. And so I took some black cardstock, some of our ivory opulent cardstock, and our rose gold opulent cardstock, and I just cut out a ton of the pieces. That's something I always really like to do when I'm making. I don't necessarily always have a plan of what something's going to look like, so I will just cut out a variety of pieces and then just play around with a layout until I get something that I like. And then I save the old pieces, or not the old pieces, but I save the excess pieces, and I might use them on a future product or project. So there's really no waste to it. You can add a nice little sentiment stamp or a sentiment word. You could have this be vertical. I wanted to do something horizontal. So it's just a really nice card with the focal point being the flowers themselves, but it's really nice on top of that sturdy card base, which comes in the bundle. The next one I wanted to show you, I used a little bit of the florals to decorate, but I wanted to show off a feature focal point or a really cool making aspect of the actual flower edges. So this one I also did on the card and envelope set. And then what I wanted to do was create this focal background piece. And so what I did is I trimmed down a piece of cardstock to the size I wanted for my card front. And then I took the actual die and I placed it on one end and held it down in place with like maker's tape or a washi tape. And I cut that because what it did is it just cut this into the edge, which then allowed me to have this really beautiful edge piece because the rest of the panel didn't cut off because there is no edge on the die to cut it off. And then I flipped the paper around or the cardstock around, and I did the same thing on the other side. And so I ended up with this beautiful double-sided decorative edge just using this one die. And I really love that you can do that. I could even
have gone further up and just done like a really sweet, almost label shape. So, and then I just added a few of the flower elements here. You could have it being at the top or the bottom, but I like to keep my emphasis on the bottom, and then I was going to add like a little sentiment in right here for whatever you're doing. But these are great because you can cut a panel to size and then just create a really nice decorative edge with it, and have beautiful cards in 3 different styles. You could also just do one edge and not both too. Great for invitation ideas, if you wanted to print out the information ahead of time. I love, my background starts in scrapbooking, so my big love in life is scrapbooking, and I love scrapbook pages. So I had some pictures from a recent trip I took to Portugal in the fall, and there's lots of bright, vibrant colors, and I was really inspired actually by the colors in the 2 dresses from my friend and I. And what I wanted to do was pull together like all of the inspiration I had from Portugal, which had lots of tiles with florals. It had lots of repeat patterns. And when I saw these 2 sets, they really inspired me to do a really bold color palette with matching to these dresses, but also something that would then remind me of the country itself. So I started off on this by putting down a layer of our Sizzix Effects gesso, just because I knew I was going to do an acrylic wash across the top of it. So I wanted to have a nice kind of base there in order for the pigments to really shine through. So then after that dried, I took 3 of our acrylic paint colors in Mango Tango, Primrose, and Cherry Blossom, and I kind of just painted willy-nilly whatever you wanted on top of that gesso. And what I did is I watered down the acrylic paints, and I just went in with a brush and added marks, dry brushed some of it. I think I did water on all of them. I went back on the higher layers and added more pigmented and opaque look, and those ones I did not add water because I wanted it to not be so see-through. But I did it by color. So I picked like color blocks and I painted the whole thing because I didn't know what my layout was going to look like. So I selected a large area of which I knew I was just going to do a really cool kind of freestyle painting background, and went in, and then I added some splat marks with white acrylic paint, and then I let it all dry. And while it was drying, I just cut a variety of pieces. I cut this particular, it kind of reminds me of a really beautiful banner piece. And what I did is, because I wanted some of them to be longer or shorter than the others, I cut one piece, pulled it up, laid it down again directly next to it, held it in place with maker's tape, and was able to cut one long piece because there is no edge or blade on the edge. So you can actually recut this pattern repeatedly so you can get one long stretch. And so you can see I did that with these 3 kind of banner pieces right here. Some of them have 5, some of them have 4, and then I actually took and cut off singular pieces and added them for little geometric kind of focal points throughout the page. Then I took all the bold flowers and I cut them in the same kind of colors as the background. I chose Banana Blast, which is close in color tone to the Mango Tango, but not exactly the same, so it would create a little bit of contrast. And then I cut the Cherry Blossom paper because I did want some stuff to match up. But then I didn't want to use Primrose because I just wanted that to be like little small feature focal points. So what I did instead is I cut some Mint Julep, and I believe this is the Peppermint cardstock from our festive range. I think it is. And then some of our glitter Ivory Opulent cardstock, just to add some really nice detailed edges to the different portions of the flowers. So you can see, just taking these 2 die sets, and that's literally all I used on here, other than like paint and stuff. I only used the 2 die sets that come in the bundle to create this entire layout, and added a few little embellishments with some rhinestones, added kind of a little bit of journaling over here, which smudged a little, which is driving me crazy. So I'm probably going to fix that. But I wanted to just show you the beautiful layouts you could do. You could do home decor pieces. You could do party favors. The sky is the limit with all of these dies. So I just want to show you can do card making. You can do scrapbooking, but you can also take these same concepts and use them for parties or home decor pieces and have fun with it. I have fun with the color and change it up. I love bold pops of color, but I also really love a good neutral. So I wanted to show you that you can really change the palettes with these dies and still get an amazing outcome.
Okay, well, that's it in my bundle. You can find it on our websites right now at sizzix.com and sizzix.co.uk. Keep an eye out because there will be more bundles coming. They are not all up there right now. So you will want to check back sporadically because we will be updating them with other bundles that our designers have curated. Definitely want to see if you make anything with this. So if you do, be sure to share them on our social channels on Facebook or Instagram and use the hashtag #MyMakingStory, and we will be able to share with everyone else what you have been up to with this lovely little bundle collection, we'll call it. I hope you have been inspired today and that you have fun with any new crafting hobbies that you have coming up this year that you would like to tackle. Until next time, stay safe, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you again soon.